The first scorecard on Obamacare is out, and it's not good. Just 106,000 Americans have purchased a new health care plan under the 6-week-old Affordable Care Act. And most of those buyers enrolled through their state's website, not the trouble-plagued federal online marketplace, healthcare.gov. Now, the results are much worse than expected. And Bertha Coombs joins us now with a breakdown of the numbers. So, Bertha, I know you've been going through all of this information. Let's start by just telling us who did succeed in signing up.
We don't really know. They didn't really give us any demographic information. They basically just gave us the numbers of what they saw. So in terms of people who actually selected a plan at this point, we're talking about 106,000. And as you mentioned, the majority of those came through the state-based exchanges that have been working fairly well. Only 26,000, nearly 27,000 managed to select a plan. Some of them have paid, a lot of them haven't, but at least have at this point selected a plan through the federal exchange, healthcare.gov. As we all know, they've had a lot of troubles for a lot of people. It's been very frustrating. What's interesting is to see just the wide variety. More people were able to select a plan on the California exchange than were on the federal exchange. And this is just for the first month. Some of the states have actually had more updated numbers. In New York, pretty strong numbers as well, just over 16,000. Kentucky, which has been fairly good for them, over 5,500. But take a look at the states that are on the federal exchange. And these are some of the states that have big uninsured populations, like Florida, just 3,500 people. In Texas, fewer than 3,000 people. And Texas is a place where you have over 20% people, 20% uninsured in that state. So that's a state that they really want to target. And these problems with the website had made it difficult for people to come through.
A couple of quick questions here. Was there a number that they were expecting?
You know, it's interesting because in September, there is a memo that was released by a House panel. Marilyn Tavenner, the head of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, had estimated that they would have roughly 500,000 people who would be at this stage. So it seems like they
came in at 20% of that number. If this was an earnings call for a company, people would be selling the stock right now.
Although they have been lowering expectations clearly because of the problems with the federal exchange.
Was there a conference call today to follow up where people answered questions?
There was. Kathleen Sebelius was on it, and her tone was actually fairly confident, sort of saying, we know there have been problems. She did address the issue, and she said, we will give you more data with regard to demographics next month. Right now, it's just difficult to get the data and difficult for it to be reliable. This is really only just the first month. Some states have already been talking about what's been going on in November.
You talk about addressing the issues. We hear from the White House that President Obama is going to be speaking out tomorrow on all of this. And the thing in particular that people are concerned about is, can I keep my original insurance policies? Is there anything the president can do to make that happen at this point?
It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, there are some legislators that want to pass a bill that would allow people to keep those plans. But there are those in the industry who say it's really difficult for the insurers at this point because they've already priced what they need to offer next year, rather. And for them to go back and keep those plans for another year might be difficult. In some cases, they are offering people the chance to renew early to maintain those plans. And in some states like California and Vermont, they have asked those insurers to keep people on those plans temporarily through the end of open enrollment of March 31st. Okay. So there's some leeway, but not a whole lot.
What a story this is turning out to be. Bertha Coombs, thank you very much. Well, before those enrollment numbers came out today, the president's technology chief went to Capitol Hill to answer questions from Congress about the troubled rollout. On a chilly day in Washington, it got hot. Eamon Javers was at today's hearing and joins us now with more. Eamon?
Yeah, it was hot, Tyler. A very tough day here for the Obama administration up on Capitol Hill. They sent the White House's chief technology officer up to the Hill. There was a lot of squabbling in the hearing room. Real tensions are evident between the Democrats and the Republicans on this panel. But the Obama administration officials were asked time and time again whether or not they can promise to hit this November 30th deadline for fixing healthcare.gov that they've laid out for themselves. They were really unable to give a concrete answer to that really brought confidence to the Republicans on the panel on Capitol Hill. Take a listen to this exchange where they sort of duck the issue of whether or not they can guarantee November 30th is a hard deadline for a fix.
Are we going to hit November 30th?
Thank you for the question, and thank you for your kind words at the beginning as well. So the goal that has been laid out is for the site not to be perfect. by the end of November.
Functional people can log on.
So that the vast majority of Americans will be able to use the site smoothly. That's the goal we're gunning for. We're working very hard to get there.
So Todd Park there, the White House Chief Technology Officer, saying that's the goal, not necessarily making a guarantee that they're going to be able to get to that November 30th deadline, Tyler.
All right, Eamon Javers, thank you very much.